Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering my most humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of a beloved mother's side. Respected elders, my dear brothers and sisters, very loving Sai Rams to all of you. My heartfelt gratitude to Bhagavan and his instruments in this region for allowing me to participate in this glorious satsang. As Brother Satya mentioned, this event has been kicked off with a great talk by Uncle Dr. Bhavati. As Swami says, pain follows pleasure, so I am here. Shiva Puranam says, Avan Arulal Avan Thalpanangi in Tamil. You need his grace to worship him. Saint Aurobindo said, those who choose God are chosen by God. And we say in the Ashtotram, Sulabha Prasannaya, the one who can be pleased very easily. To think that it is our great achievement that we have arrived here, assembled here, to be thinking of Bhagavan is silly. His grace and His grace alone has resulted in our participation, our presence in this satsang. On this weekend, we could be anywhere, doing anything, but Bhagavan chose that we are here to dwell in His divine glory. We cried out like Gajendra, the elephant king, whose feet were caught by the crocodile and he was pulled into the water. It seems even Gajendra, the elephant king, did not immediately call for Lord Narayana. He first reached out to his friends and family for help. It seems he called out and cried in desperation. Swami says that crocodile signifies the samsara sagara in which we are all caught. Our feet are caught and it is drawing us deep and deep inside. Like that, when his feet were caught, Gajendra desperately called out to his friends and family, and all the elephants came running hearing his cries, and they tried to pull the Gajendra elephant king out of the water. They held his tail, held his body, but even with the collective power of all the elephants, could not rescue that elephant. The crocodile is so strong in the water, and the crocodile pulled him deeper and deeper. The elephant friends gave up. So the Gajendra's body started submerging inside the water. His feet goes inside, the body goes inside, his head goes inside, only with his trunk desperately trying to breathe outside the water. At that time he called Lord Narayana. He said, Narayana, now you are my only rescue. Sulabha Prasannaya was so flexible. You follow, at least now you called me. and the Lord came rescuing. Brothers and sisters, కరుణాంతరంగా కరిరాజవరదా కమలేశ శ్రీ సాయి రామా. Karirajavaradha, the one who granted that boon to that elephant king, our beloved Lord, hearing our desperate plea for help, he has come here among us in our lives to rescue each and every one of us. We shall thank this beloved Bhagavan for having come among our lives out of his compassion and karuna alone, that we are all here. Let us start this satsang with an offering at his lotus feet, thanking him. Swami, thank you for allowing me to participate in your satsang. Karunantaranga Karirajavaradha Kamalesha Shri Sai Rama. Karunantaranga Karirajavaradha Kamalesha Shri Sai Rama. Omkara Rama Prashanti Rama. Omkara Rama Prashanti Rama. Parabrahma Satya Sai Rama. Parabrahma Satya Sai Rama. Kamalesha Shri Sai Rama. Kamalesha Shri Sai Rama. Karunantaranga Karirajavaradha Kamalesha Shri Sai Rama. Omkara Rama Prashanti Rama. Parabrahma Satya Sai Rama. Kamalesha Shri Sai Rama. Kamalesha Shri Sai Rama. Karunantaranga Karirajavaradha Kamalesha Shri Sai Rama. When our beloved Bhagavan chose to descend upon this planet and bless each and every one of us, a time came when he left his residence in which he was born, and he left his family, and he went and took residence in another place in the small village of Puttaparthi. And when he went to this other residence, his so-called family, they sent a message to Bhagavan. They said, Swami, they sent a message to Swami saying, Satya, from now on we promise that we will treat you good, so please come back. Instead of addressing them back, Bhagavan chose to write a letter. The first letter written by the divine hand to all of humanity. The very first word in the very first letter Bhagavan wrote captures the essence of why Bhagavan came. In that letter, Bhagavan goes on to describe who he is, why he has come, but the very first word captures the essence of it all. In the divine language Telugu, he says, Bhaktulugu, to my bhaktas. He did not address his family, but he addressed his devotees. He came declaring, saying, I came here seeking bhaktas. I came here looking for devotion. For those of us who have been very, very fortunate to have had the physical darshan of Bhagavan, for those of you who have not had the opportunity, my humble prayer is, please watch a video of darshan. When the Lord stepped out every single day, without taking a weekend break, every single day, morning after morning, evening after evening, when he stepped out among the devotees, his eyes will wander. He would go around looking. Swami used to sing this in discourses. Vedukuchunnanu, nenu vedukuchune unnanu. Searching, I am searching, I keep on searching. The entire universe in his palms, and he is searching. What is he searching for? The Lord is searching for a devotee. He walked every single day. His eyes will wander among devotees. All the people assembled there looking for the devotee. Where is my devotee? Who is the true devotee that I have come here to seek? The Lord came looking for devotees. Bhaktulaku, he came asking, seeking devotee, seeking devotion in us. That's easy, I thought. But then, what is devotion? Who is a devotee? When it comes to the department of devotion, there is no fooling, Swami. The standards have been already set very, very highly. Swami has seen Radha. Swami has seen Meera. He has seen the greatest devotion that can possibly be expressed and lived in the human form. Bhagavan has already experienced that. That is the kind of devotion he has come here to seek. We cannot offer anything less than that. Meera, the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna, she left everything and started going after seeking the darshan of Lord Krishna. She started walking in the deserts of Rajasthan towards Vrindavan, wondering one fine day that Krishna will grant her that one darshan. How casually we take Bhagavan's darshan for granted. How many darshans Bhagavan gave us? One darshan of Krishna, Meera yearned and she was walking without eating any food, without drinking water, walking in the deserts of Rajasthan, unable to walk any further. Meera faints and falls unconscious. As she falls unconscious, eagles start circling above her head, thinking that it is their lunch. As the eagles are about to descend on Meera, Meera opens her eyes and looks at the eagles and says, "Oh eagles, please come and eat this body away. What is the use of this body? What is the use of this existence? Because it could not fulfill the purpose of having the darshan of Lord Krishna. Please eat this body away. I don't want this body. But eagles, I have only one favor to ask of you. Eat the entire body, but please do not eat the eyes. Just take the eyes and leave them at the feet of Krishna in Vrindavan. At least let them have the darshan. That is the kind of bhakti Bhagavan has seen. This is beginning to get a little challenging for us. Bhagavan came looking for bhakti. Parikshit, when he had the darshan of Krishna in the mother's womb, as he stepped out as a baby, was looking for Krishna everywhere. Here, Krishna is looking for a devotee. Aravinda Lochana, looking for devotees. What kind of devotees? What kind of devotion? The kind he has already seen. The path has already been established. The standards have already been set. I started wondering, Swami, if this is the kind of devotion you have experienced in Kali Yuga, with all the distractions, how am I supposed to give you that kind of devotion? First of all, the Moodamate that I am, Swami, please, I want to understand first of all what this bhakti business is. What is bhakti, Swami? Please, don't give me a very, very complicated definition of bhakti that only PhDs can decipher. Even Moodamate like me should be able to understand what bhakti is. And here is the beauty. The Bhagavan is so loving, so much full of karuna and compassion. Not only he came seeking devotees, seeking devotion, but he also explains what bhakti is so that every one of us can understand very easily. Bhagavan says 3 things about devotion. Swami says the first and foremost thing about devotion, devotion is nothing but attachment to God, Swami says. Affection to the Supreme. Nothing complicated about that. We don't have to do study circles to understand this. Attachment to God. We all understand attachment. We are the masters of the department. It comes very, very naturally for us, attachment. Just 2 days before, the phone was not there with us. We buy a brand new phone. Suddenly the phone has become smart these days. We buy a phone as if our ego is not enough. The phone comes with its own ego. iPhone. And comes the phone. 2 days before, the phone did not exist. Today the phone has come. We cannot be separated from that phone. 5 minutes away from the phone, we become restless. We go looking for that phone. Where is that phone? Where is that phone? Like a baby, we create a little pouch and put it on our side. Like a baby cries, the phone also cries. Like the baby needs food, the phone also needs charging. We do all of that, become so attached to something that did not exist 2 days before in our lives. Attachment comes naturally for us. Bhagavan knows that that is our weakness. He simply changes that weakness to strength. Just change the direction of attachment. Fall in love with God. Become attached to God. As simple as that. And what is there in Swami that is not to be attached to? Everything about Bhagavan, just think about it, brothers and sisters. The Lord stepped out every day. Every step he took was a beautiful story. The Lord turned to his right, answered a prayer just by turning. As he turned to the right and saw somebody on the right, he answered the prayer of somebody on the left side also. When he took the letter, he gave the message. When he did not take the letter, there was a message. Every hand gesture he made was a wonder. Everything Bhagavan demonstrated every single step of the way. Anupama Sundara, incomparable beauty. The Lord took steps and steps so that we can develop that attachment. So much so, Bhagavan came not just to show that He is God. Not that He is God, that God likes us. Not just that He likes us, that God loves each and every one of us. Not just that He loves each and every one of us, we are actually capable of loving Him back. He wanted to show us that. He wanted to show that potential of that love that existed each and every one of us, to reveal that Bhagavan came. Not just that we are capable of loving God. Brothers and sisters, we are capable of falling in love with God. He came here to show that we are capable of becoming madly intoxicated with God. And He came in such a suitable form with so many beautiful attributes, showing that bhakti is possible, that attachment is possible. Becoming so attached. Swami talks about the story of Neeraja, one of the great gopis. Swami says Krishna played flute for one last time because of this devotee. When she got married and moved to this village where Krishna lived, she was told very strictly by the family, saying that in this village you are prohibited from doing two things. One, there is this little fellow called Krishna. You shall not see him. Number two, he plays the flute and you shall not listen to it. Because they have seen what happens to the people who listen to that flute and what happens to those who have that vision, that darshan of Lord Krishna, because they go nuts, they go crazy. They become all detached because they found the only attachment they need in life. They have seen that, so they established these two rules for Neeraja, and she violated both the rules. She listened to this beautiful flute coming from somewhere in the forest, went looking to the source of that flute, found the flute and found the flute player. The flute and player are the same, hence we call him Murali. She fell in love. She did not want to hear anything after that. She fell in love with that beautiful divine music that emerged out of that flute. She did not want to hear anything. She did not want to go back to her family. Her family actually excommunicated her from the village. They threw her out of the village. Her entire life, from that point onward, she spent outside her village. Always yearning to hear, listening to Lord Krishna's flute one more time. But then came the very, very painful time when Krishna had to leave that village and go and establish his kingdom elsewhere. She came to know about that and she waited on the way, and when Krishna's chariot passed by, she jumped in front of it and tried to block the wheels, stop the wheels from going forward, saying, Krishna, how can I be separated from you? I will not allow this chariot to move. But Krishna, in order to develop that attachment even further, to take the devotion to even greater levels of depth, did not allow her to stop the chariot and went away. Her entire life from that point onwards was one that of yearning for Lord Krishna. One fine day she will be able to hear that flute again. Imagine, brothers and sisters, we are not in any different situation. Our Lord has created so much yearning for Him. One lifetime is not enough for us to fulfill that yearning because He has shown so much. Our entire life can be spent yearning for more and more and more of that experience. Any number of lifetimes is not enough to experience our beloved Bhagavan. And here, this greatest devotee was sitting outside the village and yearning, looking at the direction in which Krishna left and wondering whether he will come back one fine day to fulfill her one desire, to listen to his great flute. I always think those days, I don't know whether they had bhajans. If they had bhajans, I'm sure there would be one bhajan that demonstrates this. You went to Mathura, Mathura, you fellow. When will you come? Mathura Nata Deena Dayala Sai Govinda Giridhara Bala. Radha and all of us are waiting here for you, Krishna. Radha Madhava Madana Gopala. Radha Madhava Madana Gopala. Natavara Mathura Nata Deena Dayala Mathura Nata Deena Dayala Sai Govinda Giridhara Bala. Sai Govinda Giridhara Bala. Radha Madhava Madana Gopala. Mathura Nata Deena Dayala Sai Govinda Giridhara Bala. Sai Govinda Giridhara Radha Madana Gopala. As Neeraja became older and older and older, and her entire life she spent yearning for Krishna outside that village. But the Lord's biggest manufacturing defect is that when the devotee prays, he has to leave all his business and come running to the devotee. And we have every right to take advantage of that weakness in the Lord. And here came one day when she became so old, her last stage has come, and the chariot comes running back to this village. Krishna visited that village for one day. Not to meet anybody else, but to meet this yearning devotee. And there she was. She looked at Krishna, and Krishna said, Amma, what do you want? Our Lord asks the same thing. What do you want? That has not changed between avatars. This lady asks, Amma, Krishna, all I want is to hear your flute one last time, Krishna. Krishna says, Amma, but I forgot I did not bring my flute. She says to Krishna, Krishna, if you will, anything in this world can become your flute. Krishna says, okay, Amma, and he breaks a bamboo stick. And he asks that loving devotee to keep her head on his lap. And he plays the flute for one last time for one of his greatest devotees. And listening to that flute, she emerges into that Lord. That is the kind of attachment that she demonstrated in her existence, and that is what that attachment led to. Not ordinary kind of attachment, becoming madly in love. That is bhakti. Nothing complicated about that. Simply become attached to God. Affection to the Supreme. We all know affection. We experience affection on a daily basis. We give affection to those to whom we are affectionate to, and we receive affection. All we have to do is develop that affectionate relationship with the Lord and say, will this thought, word, action of mine please the Lord? Because when we are affectionate to something, we are constantly wondering, how can we express that affection? And here, all we have to do is do the exact same thing that we do on a normal basis to other people to whom we are affectionate to the Lord. That's all. That is bhakti. Nothing complicated about bhakti. Then Swami says the second thing about bhakti. Swami says, devotion is not fair weather policy. Devotion is a path where you have to keep going forward, up and up and up. No stopping, no shortcuts, keep marching forward. Anni iste Sai Baba, lekapote Rai Baba, Swami used to say. If I give everything, I am Sai Baba to you. If I stop giving, then you make me a stone. Rai means stone. It cannot be based on conditions. No matter what happens, I will be affectionate to you. I will be attached to you. Madly in love with you. And hence, holding on to his divine lotus feet no matter what happens. Because as we develop more and more attachment, Swami will once in a while check how serious our bhakti is. How attached are we? How less attached are we to other things, so much so that we are ready to leave those attachments so that we can be attached to God. We are ready to replace all other attachments with the attachment to God. Swami will verify that. Swami asked me once, what do you want? Mudamate thought about it for a few seconds. And I said, Swami, in Tamil, I said, Swami, ungal ashirvadam venum. I want your blessings, Swami. Swami said, you buffalo, dunapota. When you ask for a piece of jewelry, you will get the jewelry. If you ask for gold itself, you can make any jewelry you want with the gold. And Swami went on to explain, if you ask for Swami's blessings, of course you will get Swami's blessings. Ask for Swami himself, he said. And when we say, Swami, I am so attached to you, no matter what, I shall remain attached to you, Swami will check how serious we are. He will throw a couple of challenges at us. When we say, Swami, I want Swami, Swami will roll up his sleeves and say, oh really, let me see. I call it the oh really factor. He will check how serious and he will throw a few challenges at us. And Swami will start, as when we start grabbing his lotus feet, hold on to it so tightly that we will not leave. When we think that we are not going to leave, that feet also has two functions. It is buy one, get one free. The second function the divine lotus feet plays is playing football with us. He will start playing football. Swami says, I can play football as long as the ball contains air. As long as you have ego, I can kick. Otherwise, I cannot kick. Can we play with the ball that does not have air in it? And the good thing about being kicked by Swami is that he kicks us towards the goal. That is the good thing. Becoming attached to God, Swami will check. Once upon a time, many years ago, Swami was putting one of my loving Sai brothers through so much of challenges and tests and shaking. And I was really agonized by what this person was going through. And I was in a helpless situation. I wanted answers. I was sitting in my apartment in California, meditating upon it, started singing a bhajan, and I thought, Swami, that poor fellow, why do you shake him so much? Instantly a message came from within, clearly in Telugu. Swami says, a medicine bottle chodra. Go see that medicine bottle, please. I instantly got up and went to the cabinet and saw the medicine bottle that I had kept, and it said, shake well before use. Before the Lord can use you as His wonderful instrument, His music can come out through each and every one of us. He will just shake. The good thing about being shaken by Swami is that in order to shake us, He has to hold us first. Like He was holding the cup. He has to hold us. That itself should give us comfort. So when we are being shaken, well, it means that the Lord is holding stronger than before. Swami says, when challenges are thrown at you, do not give up this journey of devotion. Do not stop. Do not take a break. Keep marching forward. Because when you hold on to the lotus feet of the Lord will leave everything to take care of you. A beautiful example is given as Swami described this in one of the summer courses. Many of you would have heard about the story, but it gives me immense joy. Just for my selfish interest, I will remember the story. Rama and Sita's wedding is going on. And as you would have seen in many weddings, the main part of the wedding is when the bride and groom exchange garlands. And that occasion comes, and Rama places the garland around Sita Ma's neck. And now it is Sita Ma's turn to place the garland around Rama's neck. And there was a technical problem here. Ajanubahum Aravinda Netram, 18 feet tall. Sita was not that tall. So she could not reach around Rama's neck to place the garland. She was waiting with the garland. So Rama has to now bow down, bend, so that the garland can be placed, so that the wedding can be finished and all the guests can go eat. But unfortunately, Rama was not obliging. Swami says Lakshmana always understood the finest details in these things. And Lakshmana, it seems, Swami says Lakshmana and Rama never spoke in words, always through heart-to-heart communication. Telepathy with Raghupati. So Lakshmana understood the difficult situation here. The wedding can potentially stop if Rama does not bend and people are getting hungry. So he started praying to Rama, saying, Rama, Sita Ma is waiting, can you please bend your head down? And Rama says, Lakshmana, don't you know I am a king? As the dharma of the king is that a king shall never bow under any circumstances, any situation. I have to uphold dharma, what should I do? He asks. I am in a difficult situation, Rama is saying. Sita Ma is also in a difficult situation. The wedding can potentially stop. Lakshmana is wondering what to do. He prays and prays, but Rama does not listen. Then Lakshmana realizes what he can do. He gets up, runs to Lord Rama and grabs his lotus feet, falls at his feet and holds on to his lotus feet. As soon as Lakshmana fell at his feet, Rama bent down to lift Lakshmana. As he bent down, Sita Ma put the garland around his neck. What a beautiful message. When you leave everything, saying, Swami, I have nobody but you, Swami, and go run to him and hold on to his lotus feet, he will forget dharma, karma and all that business, and he will come and uplift us. Sai Rama Koti Pranama Sharanam Sharanam Atma Rama, the one who gives refuge to the entire world. Jagada Ashraya Sri Raghurama. What happens to those who seek refuge in him? Jagata Uddhara Sita Rama. He uplifts each and every one of us. And he doesn't use any complicated techniques to uplift all of us. There is one little secret to Rama. Parama Pavana Taraka Nama. His name holds all the secret. As long as we hold on to his name, we shall be uplifted. Having received such a powerful mantra from him, Taraka Nama from him, how can we be so foolish but to offer a million pranams at his lotus feet? Jagadashraya Shri Raghurama. Dara Sita Rama Dara Sita Rama Jagadashraya Shri Raghurama. Parama Pavana Taraka Nama Parama Pavana Taraka Nama Shri Rama Shata Koti Pranama Shri Rama Shata Koti Pranama Sai Rama Koti Pranama Sai Rama Koti Pranama Sharanam Sharanam Atma Rama Sharanam Sharanam Atma Rama Parama Pavana Taraka Nama Shri Rama Shata Koti Pranama Sai Rama Koti Pranama Sharanam Sharanam Atma Rama Sharanam Sharanam Atma Bhagavan says, devotion is nothing but attachment to God. And devotion cannot be a fair weather policy. Devotion has to be constant, up and up and up, no matter what challenges are thrown at you. And the last, third thing Swami says about devotion, he says, leaving everything to his will is the supreme form of devotion. The one who came here seeking devotion, looking for devotion from each and every one of us, says, leaving everything, not a few things that we are comfortable leaving to his will. Leaving everything to his will is the supreme form of devotion. There is nothing greater than that. And it is to that devotee the Lord becomes a servant to. As many of you would have read about and some of you would have experienced, Bhagavan gives special treatment, what I call as the barbecue, to a chosen few. As Sri Kasturi Garu used to put it, he hooks you first, he cooks you next. So when the cooking happens, many of us would wonder, why does the Lord do this? There was a student of Swami who had the habit of giving a letter to Swami every day in every darshan. Sometimes, even if he forgets, Swami will come in front of him and ask, where is my letter? So every day he had developed this habit. And when Swami put somebody through this process of learning, like Uncle was very nicely saying, he takes you through stages to understand and learn things. Swami asked one student, one day, where is your father? And this boy said, Swami, he has come, he arrived this morning, he is outside, Swami. Swami went back. The next morning again, Swami calls this boy and asks him, where is your father? He says, Swami, he is waiting outside, Swami. He went back inside. Again the next day, Swami called this boy, where is your father? The boy understood, Swami, you are my father. Until the right answer is given, the Lord will keep trying and trying. And with this boy, who had developed the habit of giving a letter to Swami every day, he has to give a letter to Swami every day. So sometimes when he misses Swami in darshan inside the mandir, he will run outside as Swami is going around and he'll go and sit somewhere else. And Swami will take the letter from him at that place. So this was happening every day. And one day, when this boy is about to give a letter to Swami, Swami looked at him intently and asked him, why do you want to bring a letter between you and me? He asked. And that boy promised not to write a letter to Swami ever again. Because when we want closeness, that Lord wants that closeness more than we can ever imagine. That is the kind of love He has come packaged and He has come here to deliver to each and every one of us, not to a select few brothers and sisters. That is why there is a secret in bhajans. तेरे द्वार पे मैं आऊं, मुझे शांति दो भगवान, मुझे शांति दो भगवान, मेरे जीवन में साथ रहो साईनाथ. The bhajan says, O Lord, I will come to your doorsteps, grant me eternal peace. Peace of mind, no, peace of mind. As long as there is a mind, there is no peace. मेरे जीवन में साथ रहो साईनाथ हे. The bhajan says, please be with me all the time. Is he not there? What is the real meaning? Swami, make this Moodamate understand you are all the time you are with me. But then I will ask you, not because you are Daya Sagara or Karuna Sagara, because I have every right to ask you. You know why? Mere Sai, Mere Baba, Mere Prananath Ram. Mere Sai, you are mine. I have every right to ask you because you are mine. That is the beauty, mathematical equation about Swami. When the lead singer sings Mere Sai or the followers singing Tere Sai, no. Followers are also saying Mere Sai. You divide Sai by 6 billion people, everybody gets the same amount of Sai. Unique mathematical equation. And as our beloved Bhagavan wants us to develop that sense of attachment and closeness to him, and this boy was giving letter every day. Swami says, why do you want to bring a letter? One day this boy was sitting there waiting in darshan, and as this exclusivity business happens, what are we willing to shed so that we will get the most precious wealth as human beings we can possibly ever get? The Lord himself, he is the superset. He said, ask for Swami. But then, when you say, I want Swami, Swami will see, let me see what else you are willing to give up because of this. And one day, Swami came very, very upset. He looked at this boy and said, no, bad boy. That boy instantly understood where this is going. Cooking is about to start. Bad boy is the ignition of the stove. Brindavan is going to become Brindavan. As the frying is about to begin, this boy immediately asked for forgiveness. Swami, what did I do? Please forgive me, Swami. You have lot of friends, Swami said. He understood. The moment you say, Swami, you are my father, you are my friend, it is one thing to sing very casually. Tumi ho mata pita, tumi ho bandhu saka. How serious are we about that? When this boy had said, Swami, I will not bring anything between you and me, and here the Lord comes and says, you have a lot of friends. He understood. Something is here. I am attached to something. Swami, please forgive me, Swami. You are my only friend. You are my everything, Swami. No, you have a lot of friends. Then Swami pointed to looked at another boy and said, before I came for darshan, was this fellow not talking to you? That boy very happily said, yes, Swami. Swami said, see, you have a lot of friends. You don't need Swami. And he walked out. From that point, Swami did not talk to this boy for the simple reason that he spoke to the other boy for a few seconds. He did not talk to this boy, this letter boy, for 1 month. The one who was talking to him for every day suddenly stops talking to him for 1 month. Each moment is like one yuga. And that is grace. When the Lord creates that, he gets the best possible expressions of devotion from each and every one of us. Avan arulal avan thalvanangi. You need his grace to worship him. The Lord demonstrates the kind of devotion that we never thought even we are actually capable of, that even existed in us. The Lord will allow us to go deeper and deeper, year and year. What is more great than spending our entire life yearning for God, thinking about him? All this boy is thinking for the next 1 month when Swami is gone and not talking to him, ignoring him. When everybody is getting a regular ring, he is getting ignoring. And this boy is yearning for Swami. Swami, what did I do? What can I do to come so that I can make you talk to me, Swami? Look at what happens, an entire month of penance. Tapasa Ranjana Tarakana. The one who wants us to spend our entire life with that kind of intensity and penance, where this boy is not interested in food, he is not interested in water, definitely not friends, and he is only thinking about Swami. What a great blessing To be able to think about the Lord constantly, doing smarana constantly, thinking about Him, thinking about ways of winning Him over. That is the hallmark of devotion. How did this devotion happen? Because the Lord gave it to him. And with this devotion, 1 month passes by, this boy starts reading Ramakatha Rasavahini, his first-hand narration of what happened when he was Rama. And after reading that, this boy comes to a realization what a fool he was. To take Swami for granted so easily, the very Lord of the universe, the Supreme Master, chooses to descend upon the earth to spend so much time with his devotees as if it is our achievement. This boy started thinking, one day he is sitting in the Prashanti Mandir as Swami is going around in darshan. This 1 month of experience has finally brought him to this state of humility where he is thinking, Swami, what a fool I am. Sita gave everything to you. She was such a big princess and she was steeped in luxury and everything, but with such a princess, with such a kingdom, with so much of luxury, she left everything and walked behind you and spent 14 years in the forest. She demonstrated so much devotion to you. Even for somebody with that kind of devotion, look what happened to Sita. You sent her to forest again. If Sita herself got this kind of treatment from you, Swami, with that kind of devotion, who am I to ask you to talk to me, Swami? He thought. Who am I? As that thought came, his eyes welled up. Tears started rolling down. Satya Sai Water Project, personal edition. Tears started rolling down, thinking, what a fool I am to expect the very Supreme Master of the universe to talk to me as if I am some big thing, when he has seen such great forms of devotion. As he reached that humble state, somebody pats him on his head. He turns around. The Supreme Master is standing with a smile. He asks him, what are you reading? He said, Swami, Ramakatha Rasavahini. That will make a good pillow, Swami says, and walks away. He had to reach that state of humility so that the Lord teaches him through that experience how, when you experience that attachment with the Lord, that yearning for that Lord, what the devotion can bring to you. It can bring the Lord himself to you. He will grant us the devotion. That is why one bhajan says, मुझे शक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे भक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा. मुझे शक्ति दो. Swami asked one student, what do you want? And he said, Swami, give me the strength to love you incessantly. Because Swami, I know how much you love me. And sometimes, because of my human limitation, I am not capable of loving you back so much with that kind of intensity. But Swami, I know that you love me so much that you will actually give me the strength to love you back. To think that even bhakti can be our achievement is foolishness. Even bhakti, the Lord has to give. We will talk about the power of prayer in tomorrow's session, but to understand that, oh Lord, give me the strength to love you. Give me that devotion that you came looking from each and every one of us. Sai Mata Pita Dina Bandhu Sata. Sai Mata Pita Dina Bandhu Sata. तेरे चरणों में साईं मेरा कोटि प्रणाम. साईं माता पिता दीनबंधु सदा. में साई मेरा कोटि प्रणाम। मुझे शक्ति दो मेरे साई शिवा, मुझे भक्ति दो मेरे साई शिवा। मुझे शक्ति दो मेरे साई शिवा, मुझे भक्ति दो मेरे साई शिवा। मुझे मुक्ति दो मेरे साई शिवा। मुझे मुक्ति दो मेरे साई शिवा। साई माता पिता दीनबंधु सदा, तेरे चरणों में साई मेरा कोटि प्रणाम। मुझे शक्ति दो मेरे साई शिवा, मुझे भक्ति दो मेरे साई शिवा। मुझे मुक्ति दो मेरे साई शिवा। पिता दीनबंधु सदा। I will sign off by sharing a couple of very profound messages. Bhagavan's affection to each and every one of us cannot be described in words. We call him Bhakta Vatsala. Vatsalya is affection. The one who is so affectionate to his devotees. What kind of affection does the Lord have for his devotee? Many times affection is something that is understood as a feeling mother has towards a child. But Swami corrects that. He says, Lord's affection to his devotee is like a mother cow has towards his calf. It seems when the mother cow looks at the calf, it automatically starts generating milk uncontrollably. And that is the kind of affection the Lord, it seems, has for the devotee. When the Lord sees an expression of pure devotion, the Lord pours forth uncontrollably, the grace starts pouring. Even he has no control over that. That is why we call him Bhakta Vatsala. As experienced by the great devotee Pundalika. He always wanted to go have the darshan of Lord Krishna in the temple, but he was always busy taking care of his aged parents. And he was always busy doing all the household chores, taking care of his parents. But he had this desire to go have darshan of Lord Krishna. One day he hears a knock on his door. He opens the door. What a sight he sees. Bhakta Vatsala is standing outside. Krishna was standing outside. He told this boy, you wanted my darshan, but because you could not come, I came to grant you darshan. This boy says, Krishna, I am a little busy now. I am in the middle of taking care of my parents. here is a brick. Just stand on this and wait. I will come back. And he closes the door and goes inside. What did Krishna do? Tweet me when you are free. No. Krishna waited outside the door of his devotee so that the door will open. That is Vatsalya. That is what the Lord will do when there is devotion in us. He will wait for us, wondering when will this fellow open his door, the doors of the heart, so that I shall pour grace to that fellow. Pandari Nivasa, He Panduranga. Pandari Nivasa, He Panduranga. He Pativasa, Shri Sai Deva. He Pativasa, Shri Sai Deva. Pandari Nivasa, He Panduranga. Dina Rakshaka, Anatha Rakshaka. Dina Rakshaka, Anatha Rakshaka. Vatsala He Saishwara. Bhakta Vatsala He Saishwara. Pandari Nivasa, He Panduranga. He Pativasa, Shri Sai Deva. Pandari Nivasa, He Panduranga. Dina Rakshaka, Anatha Rakshaka. Vatsala He Saishwara. Bhakta Vatsala He Saishwara. Pandari Nivasa, He Panduranga. There was a lady, an ardent devotee of Bhagavan. She had come to Bhagavan when Bhagavan was very young. And she had fallen in love. Madly, madly in love with Swami. One day Swami told this lady, Swami said, Amma, when a tree grows, as it grows, it yields a few flowers. Not all the flowers will stay until they become fruits. Many flowers will wither and fall away. A few flowers will yield fruit. Not all the fruits will become ripe. Many of them will fall away, even before they become ripe. So only some fruits will become ripe. Amma, all the fruits that become ripe, not all the fruits will be sweet. Only a few will be sweet. In the tree of devotion, Amma, you will become a ripe, sweet fruit. When you become that ripe, sweet fruit, Amma, Swami will swallow you, Amma, he said. Money back guarantee given by Swami to each and every one of us. That Amma is simply a symbol. One day in Brindavan, Bhagavan was granting darshan in the morning. Those days, Swami used to grant darshan in this place called Sai Ram Shed. A beautiful tree, under that there is a statue of Lord Krishna. Devotees sitting around, Sai Krishna granting devotion, granting darshan. And as Swami was walking on the sand, as he is about to reach the Sai Ram Shed, suddenly he stopped and turned to his right and started walking away from all the devotees. And everybody was wondering where Swami is going. There is nobody there. He started walking towards the hostel building, and he actually reached the edge of the hostel building. There are 2 hostel buildings in Brindavan, and there is a passage between the 2 hostel buildings. And Swami actually went to that passage. There was nobody. There was a car parked there at the very back. Swami went to the car. And when he went to that car, he opened the back door. Inside the car at the back seat, this ripe, sweet fruit is sitting. She is so old, she cannot hear properly, she cannot see properly, but she is so much in love, she just wants to be at the place where the Lord is granting darshan. That's all. She is just sitting there full of love and devotion for the Lord, sitting at the back seat. Because Swami is granting darshan somewhere, she just wants to be there. And here Swami opens the back door and bends inside and says, Amma, that voice she can recognize from several million miles away. She instantly starts crying. Swami says, Amma, onnoda Swami vandirukken, he says in Tamil. Your Swami has come. We say, Swami, you are mine. Here the Lord giving that ownership to her. Your Swami has come, Amma. She is so happy. Swami, you have come. You have come. She is so happy. She is unable to express herself. Swami actually sits next to her in the back seat and starts talking to her. When the ripe, sweet fruit of devotion is right there, he is the one who came seeking that devotion. Where else can he go but to that devotee? He sat and next started talking to her. That lady is filled with joy and happiness and full of love. And after that, she says, Swami, can I take Pada Namaskar, Swami? Pada Namaskar eduthukattumma, she asked in Tamil. Swami says, Amma, nee shrama pattuka vendam. You don't bother, Amma. And Swami lifted his feet and gave it to her hand and said, now take comfortably, Amma. You don't even need to bend anymore to take Pada Namaskar. The feet will come to you. That is what devotion can get to each and every one of us. The bhakti that he came seeking, when demonstrated through our entire existence, every single moment of our lives, becoming attached, madly in love with that Lord, what we get is that Lord himself. He is the superset. When we get him, everything else comes with it automatically. Bhagavan gave me a very, very powerful message. I have shared this before. I was so much after getting a handkerchief used by Swami. I somehow wanted it. And with all kinds of techniques, finally, when I ended up in the interview room and I actually held his kerchief in my hand, and I did not want his permission, because if I ask him, he may twist my question. Can I take this kerchief? I thought I may not get it. I cannot quietly steal it either, because he may want to use it. So I finally, when Swami came to me, I lifted the kerchief and said, Swami, I am taking this kerchief. FYI. Swami, I am taking this kerchief. As I said that, Bhagavan just bent towards me with the love of a million mothers. all the existence love oozing out of his entire existence. His eyes lit up. He came towards me and said, "Take me," he said. Two words with which he came, asking each and every one of us, Bhaktulaku, to my bhaktas, take me, I am here. What more can we ask for? Our Lord has come. Our life can be filled with joy by simply falling in love with this Lord. Jai Sai Ram.